Hi, I'm Adrian McDermott, the CTO of Zendesk. Zendesk is a company that builds customer support software, and we basically try and enable people to have the best customer relationships by powering the conversations they have with their customers, making them efficient, engaging, and delightful. And today, what I really wanted to talk about was how we can harness the power of AI for customer centric cost control. How we can use AI basically to solve, cost control, which is one of the top business challenges, and the opportunities that it gives us basically to make our customers more efficient, our interactions more efficient, make our customers happy. Cost control is clearly a top business priority. And we believe that, AI can help us create a more efficient business in so many aspects if we deploy it responsibly and carefully and understand what it can and cannot do. And we're going to talk a little bit about how we can do that. And I can use some specific examples from customer experience. And finally, in the customer experience world, we can talk in detail about how it can, absolutely extend and improve the experience for customers while keeping costs low and driving costs down. Gartner say that leaders are tasked with juggling the twin needs of both controlling spend and helping position companies for future growth, right? It's just a core challenge right now in the economic environment for everybody. And I think they have a good framework at Gartner for sort of thinking about this, right? How do we reduce, replace, and rethink our businesses for the new era, right? I see companies reducing office span, replacing existing tools, and really rethinking projects and processes with efficiency in mind. And to a certain extent, efficiency is the top priority. At the same time, obviously, we have to serve our customers and serve our people. And there's a lot of excitement about artificial intelligence and the advances that we've seen. And we think that leveraging AI is one of the most effective ways to control costs. And it's possible to do that while improving the customer experience or the business experience, right? If we think about customer experience, it's possible with artificial intelligence to automatically solve customer issues. Now, bots are always on. They're there 24/7. They understand all of the answers. Your bot as effectively your AI has read every inquiry there's ever been before and everything in your knowledge bases, your FAQ, and on your website. Extraordinarily powerful and able to do that. And we found in Zendesk surveys that customers actually prefer to talk to a good bot as long as they're not trapped there and they can actually talk to a human if they need to. Artificial intelligence allows you to handle more requests, to effectively open yourself up to your users without adding headcount, right? Because you can do it so much more efficiently and you can bring more people in and encourage them to contact you. And then you can also, at the same time, if you do need that escalation point, right? If someone does need to talk to someone, the next thing that you need to do with artificial intelligence is guide those customer service agents to solve issues faster. Part of that is obviously understanding the intent of the user and, the next best action or the best outcome for those users and making recommendations. This is something these are things that artificial intelligence can do so well. Part of it is also the fact that as agents are guided through these processes, they rapidly get this sort of tight training feedback loop that upskills them, up-levels their ability, and shows them what good looks like over and over and over again all day, right? This rapid cycle, this feedback loop and flywheel really builds for better experiences. And then finally, because of an AI model's ability to scan across all of these interactions and use sort of trend spotting, big data analysis, and these kind of things, they can provide insights at every step of the journey for your customers, right? What are the things that you're missing? What are the things where we see humans providing, bespoke answers that are inefficient, take a long time to produce, that could be automated, that could be documented, that could be some of the things that everyone else is doing. So many opportunities there to sort of build capabilities. And this is important, right? Because as these advances in AI happen, I think they're going to impact every industry. But if we think about the impact, particularly in CX, we see people doing a lot of manual work, right? often answering repetitive questions and inquiries, right? And then also spending a lot of time looking for information. We have certain ways of looking for information in our organizations. It's not necessarily collected. Things that, these knowledge tools can do so well. Fast forward, and as a result, by the way, those jobs are not great. Industry turnover in this industry is, between 30 and 100% a year. Extremely expensive, and brings us back to that point of training and onboarding so important. Fast forward to the future and where we want to be with artificial intelligence, right? We want those chunks of time for repetitive work, repetitive questions, those chunks of time for information sourcing, finding, and connecting. We want those to shrink dramatically. Now, ideally, I think in CX, we want then our customer service agents to be making connections to their users. We want them to be having longer conversations and solving complex inquiries and really building richer relationships with our customers, right? This change, this shift, I think is applicable very much to any industry. Right? So much of what we do every day is, to a certain extent, automatable and repetitive. There are still things, though, that are specific to us and things that we can do that only a human could bring that impact to. This type of use case often, and this sort of human augmentation, people are starting to talk a little bit about co-piloting, where there's something that rides along with a human and makes them more efficient. In the software engineering world, there's a tool called GitHub Copilot, and Microsoft has said that of the 100,000 plus daily active users or monthly active users, it can generate between 30 and 50% of the software code that they write, right? An extraordinary productivity boost. But it's a productivity boost for people who really know what they're doing, right? You already have to be a good developer to be able to use it, but extremely powerful when you think about it. And I think that can be applied in almost every discipline in any organization where you can build and use these tools. It's just more advanced there. And this is because I think we're in the midst of an AI revolution, right? I come from the nerd world. I track this very closely. But what we're seeing is extraordinary advances in technology on an almost weekly basis. It's like hard to keep up with. It's breathtaking, right? It's like I'm using GPT-3, and I'm using ChatGPT. Then we're playing with ChatGPT-4, and there are these extraordinary image generators, right? It's like technology after technology after technology. And given that AI is one of the best, we think it's going to be absolutely one of the best ways to control costs. I think we have to absorb some of this and think about what we're using. From an AI point of view, what we see is that it's really a technology called the large language model, LLMs, or foundational models, another word for these models, that have really changed the game, changed the way that people think about AI and the things that it can do, right? These models are basically trained on massive amounts of data, right? Think about it as using measurable percentages of the internet, if you like, and spending tens to hundreds of millions of dollars to train and build. But what happens when you train a model with that much data is that they become so much richer in the things that they can do. They go beyond, predicting the end of the sentence to summarizing, understanding language, doing translation, to the point where they can write haikus about toast and marmalade and explain jokes. This opens the door for countless use cases, right? And I think that's partly because of the things, as you look at it, the things that they could do. It used to be, right, that artificial intelligence, machine learning, as we called it, was really, really good at automating, at predicting responses, right? I can, given an email, I can shoot back a response, which is possibly the answer, right? Decent, really good, decent. I always thought, though, personally, that the ability to reason and make decisions and make connections, and the ability to create, to write, to draw, to create images, those would be the specific and unique domain of the human species. That is not true, right? These tools can write and they can reason, and it's that power to create, that power to make decisions that has really changed things. So many great examples of how to use them coming thick and fast. But From a productivity point of view, I love this example from Google for Duet AI in the Google Workspace, which allows a knowledge worker to ask the AI in context in the document to write something for them, right? This example that was writing a job description. I've written many job descriptions in my life. It always begins the same way. You do a Google search, senior developer job description. You look at 3 examples, you cut and paste, you do all these things. You do it, you don't necessarily create from scratch, but you never do. And you put it into your document. I think asking Duet to do all of that work for you and shoot things out, right? We become editors. We don't necessarily have to be creators anymore. And I'm a much better, I don't know about you, but I'm a much more productive and better editor than I am a writer and creator. It's extraordinary. So the good news is that all of the large technology companies are investing in large language models, right? They're going out, they're doing, base research academically, creating these models. They are, spending the tens of millions to do that. And then they're making available to us either as open source or as hosted platform. And companies like Zendesk, people who provide tools to organizations are then consuming those, putting them into our product and making them available and figuring out how to optimize flows. And I think that is kind of the cycle and the loop. We don't have to build our own data sets and create our own models, right? We'll stand upon the shoulders of giants and consume this technology, which is extremely important because then we can focus on, I think, the nuanced tasks and the aspects that are important to our business and controlling costs in our business, but also providing great experiences for our employees and our users. And as AI continues to progress, we're going to extend AI out across the user journey to assist with all service needs, right? Think about, the customer lifecycle: awareness, consideration, adoption, conversion, retention, advocacy, all the stages someone goes through. I think we were super focused, as I mentioned, in machine learning with these reactive use cases, right? AI currently, the machine learning version 1, if you like, could automate, recommend, and predict. I think as we use the ability to reason, the ability to create, and just the utility and availability, we're going to be in a world in which AI can be proactive and make connections and make suggestions for users and notify them. And can also be preventative in our businesses, right? Identifying trends, analyzing giant sets of data, evaluating what can happen, and in customer life cycles, sort of cultivating relationships really, really smartly and really specifically. It's moving marketing in some ways from having segments of customers to segments of one. You can build custom flows, journeys, outcomes, and relationships for every single customer that's tailored to their needs at scale, super efficiently. To do that, though, more and more, as AI is usable by anyone, part of the way that we extend across the customer journey and throughout the organization into lifecycle is that we and us and the people that we buy our tools from in businesses are going to have to embrace this technology, and they're going to have to embrace this technology and solve what we call the last mile problem. The last mile of artificial intelligence is really putting it in someone's hands, making it usable in a controllable and trustworthy way. And that's a difficult problem to solve, right? It's fairly exciting and easy to sort of automate or start playing around with parts of our jobs and our daily lives in ChatGPT and having it write the thing that we need to write today. I've gone through days where, basically every email, Slack post, everything that I do document, I start first with a generative AI prompt into one of the available instances, Claude or Bard, and then take it and edit it and use it, right? That's still, you want to avoid swivel chair implementations of anything and cutting and pasting. Ultimately, when we can build these models into the tasks that we perform, we can make ourselves so much more efficient. And that's, I think, the challenge for ourselves and for vendors is to be building so out of the box it works, right? In the Zendesk product, we built an intelligence panel that's AI powered in the workspace, showing What is the intent of this user? What is their sentiment? What language are they speaking? How confident are we in those observations, right? And then, to a certain extent, what do we recommend that you would do as a customer service agent for this customer? Like which, macro in your customer service environment would you apply, right? Closing the loop for the users so that the AI is actually leapfrogging their capabilities, riding along with them, being a co-pilot, and then helping them be more efficient and get more done. To do that, I think it's most impactful for all of us, beyond that generic cut-paste ChatGPT version, that we use high-quality data and we inject that and constrain what's happening. So that, out of the box in our tools, AI is really understands our business, right? I'll give you an example. At Zendesk, we have studied a lot of, we have over 100,000 customers. We've studied a lot of data, and we think most help desks have between 50 and 500 issue types or outcomes that they solve. Return, product problem, change my shipping address. In software, it's a question about how a function works, these kind of things. And we built a taxonomy of these things. We've trained models in it, and suddenly, we can predict 99%. Given a user input and a question, we can predict 99% of the time what it is they want, and then line them up with the right person, the right process, the right page, the right content, the right action to get that done. From A to B. That's possible because we took the time to sort of constrain and train and understand the problem space and make it specific, right, with verticalized data. I think that discipline is the thing that we're going to see people applying across our entire organizations, across our tool chains, across the way that we think about it. And that's how AI is going to be consumed. We should also recognize that there is significant risk here in the deployment of artificial intelligence, right? These models, they are predicting the next word in a sentence. They are not necessarily understanding the context in our world. They have no sense of right or wrong, true or false in some ways. And so we need to make sure that in that way, we're constraining and fine-tuning and grounding in facts. These models make a lot of mistakes. The technical term actually is hallucination. And one of the biggest challenges in AI research right now is the way to deal and constrain the hallucinations that are happening. One of the ways we do that in our tools, and one of the ways that we think everyone should be doing that in tools, is keeping humans in the loop. We're not going to completely replace the humans, especially where we have these brand damaging responses that could go out from models, right? Or mistruths that could be stated that would damage a customer relationship, or damage an implementation of anything that we were doing with artificial intelligence. Humans in the loop is a key context as we design what we call the last mile of implementation. And then finally, prompt hacking, getting these models getting manipulated or tricked in a way that provides bad business outcomes. Tons of examples out there of this happening before as people have tried to use these models. And so it's super important, I think, that in our implementations, we're very risk concerned about the privacy and use of our customers' data and our own data, and that we narrow the scope of answers, escalate whenever needed, and make sure that the models are controlled. That said, AI can significantly help with cost control today. And we think it's only going to become more impactful as we advance further. Everyone should be thinking about this, right? This is how businesses are going to get more efficient, and those that don't will get disrupted, right? So I think as we, think about the 4 R's of cost optimization, reduce, replace, rethink, and reinvest, I think we should be all reinvesting in artificial intelligence to have better business outcomes, serve our customers better, and really keep on advancing and researching and evaluating how we can grow our businesses and serve our customers. Thank you so much. I'm Adrian McDermott, the CTO of Zendesk, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation today.